So then it is time to move to the main event of Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Championship. 100% babyface reaction for Sami Zayn coming out, and crowd is buzzing here.
Like wearing the keffiyeh and thobe. So, I mean, if it wasn't already obvious enough, he is portrayed as the hometown guy. Everybody here is a ride or die fan.
Yes. And he was playing to the camera saying, "Isn't that nice for a change?" And so when the bell rings, like this crowd is buzzing pretty significantly for the match. Mm-hmm. And it starts with Gunther and Cody as Zayn gets dumped to the floor. But he would return, take some chops, and then it's all Gunther until a Cody cutter is hit. Then Cody hits a double Cody cutter to both men. And Gunther stops a crossroads, hitting a power bomb, and back comes Zayn for a save. And so they did a lot of these kind of layered saves where, one guy was out, he'd make the save, we'd get referees yanked out and such. But I did think it was a well laid out three-way that they had. Cody's doing the bionic elbow and is cut off with the Blue Thunder Bomb as Zayn gets a near fall. And Gunther stops a haluva kick, yanking Zayn's legs between the posts, crotching him. And Cody hits the crossroads to Gunther when Zayn yanks out referee Dan Engler, and Cody is pissed at Zayn. But they emphasize, it's legal. It's legal. And Cody challenges Zayn to enter, so they start going at it. Zayn hits a brainbuster, and now it's Gunther coming off the top of the splash, breaking up the cover, and he powerbombs Zayn, powerbombs Cody on top of Zayn, and then goes for another powerbomb that Zayn turns into a sunset flip for a 2 count. Gunther actually does his own haluva kick, missing Zayn, and now Zayn hits the haluva kick, and you think that Zayn has it won. Now it's Cody's turn to yank Dan Engler to the floor with the tables turned. So they go to the floor. Cody and Zayn are brawling, and they clear the desks, and just for good measure, Sami Zayn takes one water bottle, places it on the desk so he can slap it away, which they didn't call attention to, but I thought was rather amusing that they incorporated that. And he goes for the package pile driver onto Cody. And this is interesting, just that, Kevin Owens he's coming back on this NXT show tomorrow, which I don't think you read anything into, but his name was brought up on Friday. You've got this spot here. It does feel like they're certainly putting a lot of, they're certainly incorporating Kevin Owens, at least recognizing him in, on back-to-back nights here with Sami. Mm-hmm. So he goes for the package pile driver, but Cody stops it because remember, this is the move that breaks the code among the boys. You don't do the package pile driver, okay? That's the one that could take you out and you can't make money for your family. So Cody, preserving the code, back body drops Zayn onto the American desk, and he goes through that one. And this is where Michael Cole's audio goes to shit, and it's gone. Gunther comes and powerbombs Cody onto this desk. The desk doesn't break, so he does another powerbomb, breaking the desk. Cody's dead, and he throws him into the ring, applies the sleeper, and Cody battles to his feet. He slams down Gunther, but the sleeper is reapplied, and as his arm is lifted, in comes Zayn, preventing the arm from hitting the mat. And it's Zayn hitting an exploder and haluva on Gunther. Gunther kicks out. Really big near fall. Super cutter is hit by Cody, and then it's Zayn reversing a crossroads. He goes for a haluva. Gunther cuts him off with the sleeper, and it's reversed. And Cody manages to get both of these guys for a double crossroads, which looks as ridiculous as it sounds, and goes for one more crossroads to Sami, but Sami rolls him up with a counter, catching Cody in 18 minutes and 40 seconds as Sami Zayn wins the undisputed championship in his 10th attempt at the title. And this was the big moment of the show. Sami Zayn finally winning the title, and they do the big celebration, all of the fireworks going off, and he yells into the camera, 10 years in WWE, which he's being generous. It's been like 13 years he's been here. And he says, they said I'd never do it. Well, here it is. It's Sami Zayn.
Are we just talking main roster for 10 years?
When was he on the main roster? He came up that one time and blew out his shoulder. But yeah, I guess maybe that's closer. NXT doesn't count. But he wins the championship. And there you go. Mm-hmm. Surprise finish, or did you see it going this way?
I honestly felt like all three had, an argument to win. And maybe if I had to maybe pick an option, I might have considered Sammy perhaps the least likely of the three, but just maybe by a slight margin. So like there was certainly an element of a bit of surprise for me, the fact that they finally confirmed this. Although like once you see the entrance, once you really kind of like see everything, of course, it made a lot of sense. Like other than that night, we still talk about, John, of us being in Montreal for Elimination Chamber. I don't know if you're going to get that sort of fever for Sami Zayn winning a championship again. And I thought they came decently close in tonight, in this moment of this crowd really wanting to favor this one guy to finally like win this championship. So this time they seemed to take advantage, and I thought the match was awesome. Like I thought like in terms of a three-way, I felt it's been really well established because they all have heat between them. Sammy and Gunther have their history. Gunther and Cody certainly have currently a very intense rivalry. Sammy and Cody may be the most intense of them all. So all of it felt very balanced. And on top of it, you had, I think, tremendous motivation from Sammy that he's been building up for years now of finally being able to achieve this championship win. So the quality of the match I felt was also quite excellent. Like Cody and Gunther are Cody and Sammy are excellent, but Gunther to me is the glue that holds it all together. He's the guy who can like, make every move look intense and real. I thought the story elements of Sammy and Cody costing each other, like all the storyline build, all the promos that they cut, I thought like played well into the body of the match and made you feel that much more about, well, each near fall and how, especially for Sammy, how he got that much closer until Cody perhaps pulled the referee out of the way. The run up to the finish was excellent with just so much like great back and forth. So I thought the match was very strong. Yeah.
I thought it was the best match on the show, and I really think that they were looking at, I think they wanted to shake things up and do something that was going to kind of be not completely out of left field. I think people saw like there was the possibility they could do this type of a finish with Sammy winning. But I think like this, there had been the discussion of like Cody and Punk being the title program for SummerSlam. You could still get there with Cody and Punk without the title, or you put, you could certainly, what I think they're doing is I think they are, they just want to shake things up. And, typically when it's a figure like a Sami Zayn, he's winning the first title, like there will be an added bit of excitement and momentum behind something like that, as you can see to the reaction online after Sami Zayn won it. Like if there's something people do take seriously, it's like the guy winning his first big championship. And I hope it's a semi-serious run. I don't want it to be Sammy as kind of the cowardly comedic heel that this is just like a quick 1-2 month title reign. I think you could do, he has the matches laid out that you can certainly go with here. We'll see what type of a reign that this is, if he is, given a real shot at being a top figure on SmackDown, or if this is sort of just do something for the shock of it, and we're going to get it back onto one of the other players by the end of the summer, for instance.
I think there could be a very strong chance of that. I think by the end, like even before SummerSlam, like this could be the type of short reign that he might lose on first instance. Like it's
possible. They do it like he finally gets it, and it's like the Drew story. He gets the title, and boom, he loses it.
You had Gunther on the post show, at least, complaining to all this. Also, like, kind of instigating all this enough to the point where, like, there was some physicality. So maybe that suspends Gunther. I wouldn't necessarily think it rewards him or anything like that. But I don't know. Like, Sammy, okay, like, this is a show that's sort of very separate from, what you typically get in North America, right? Here, Sammy is the hometown hero. He wrestled this match pretty much straight, like, no underhanded tactics whatsoever. In America, he is portrayed as very capable, very credible, but also somebody who is not like the type of like world beater that like, certainly a Gunther is, nor even like, I don't know, Cody is. And he's also the type of character where losing almost like gives him extra motivation to be more of the character that, he is, the bitter guy who is just always there to complain, right? So I wouldn't completely write off the idea that he could lose his title before SummerSlam, and then SummerSlam gives you something else. But let's say he holds the championship. What is the Sami Zayn match at SummerSlam?
So I think I think the X factor is CM Punk. If he's coming back and on SmackDown, like Punk's going to be in a major program. The natural is that, okay, so Sammy beat Cody here. You could do Sammy and Gunther, although I still think there's some juice in Cody and heel. Sammy. Yeah.
I mean, they could do it, of course, but you know, it's just, it's of all the options, it doesn't maybe feel as right.
I feel Cody being involved there, you know, it would seem that Cody's involved somehow, but I don't know where Punk fits into all of that, because I was thinking it was going to be like Cody Punk would be SummerSlam, and
Sammy and Punk is another option. You know, like you'd have to justify Punk getting the title.
You could get there. You're starting from, you know, you're starting from scratch with those two, but certainly you could do that in theory.
Yeah, last real good guy versus maybe, I don't know, somebody who the audiences actually think is a good guy in CM Punk. That's viable. But, you know, Cody versus Punk, I also think is like...
Or Oba could beat him in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, Oba and Sammy is also...
It's a lot of people are going to treat this like Bryan Danielson winning the title at the WrestleMania in New Orleans. And I feel this is going to be closer to when Danielson won the Money in the Bank and cashed it in. And he was kind of just like the underdog champion that was just going to be like a very different handling of that championship reign as a heel.
Which would also maybe make sense in that maybe they didn't want Oba to either beat Gunther or Cody. And therefore, Sammy is more of a transitional role, but gets this wonderful moment at Night of Champions.
So Byron, just going through some of the post-show stuff, Byron did interview Zayn while he was in the arena, and he spoke in Arabic. There was chance of you deserve it, and he agreed. He says, I never got the recognition, and I don't care what happens to me next. I'll always be recognized as WWE champion. So it almost felt like he's like, I could lose this belt tomorrow, and maybe I will, but I'm going to be a champion.
I wonder if that's foreshadowing something. That would almost like open the path directly for like an Obafemi to call him out like the next night and take the title off of him right away. You know?
Right.
That could happen. Yeah. Like Obafemi would say, fuck SummerSlam. I want my title shot tonight.
And then you get Oba and Brock. There you go.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Also worth noting is that Pat LaPrade, who has been covering the careers of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn right from the jump, he was calling the French language broadcast on Netflix. And yeah, he tweeted about the fact that, you know, he was at Sami Zayn's second ever match back when he was Steve McFly prior to Big Larry. And he just said like this was obviously a huge moment for him getting to call Sami Zayn's title win, which I don't know if Pat knew what the outcome was going to be or not. I would kind of guess he wouldn't, and I'm sure it was like quite the call that he had here. He was calling the show with Kevin Raphael as well, and then we also had Kevin Owens tweeting, I've missed a lot of things I wish I hadn't in the last 15 months because of this injury, but today is by far the one I wish I had been there for the most. He, referring to Sammy, has brought out the best in me as both an ally and a foe. That's because he is the best. When you're consistently that good for that long, you become undeniable. Sammy becoming WWE champion was inevitable. He has deserved that moment for a long time, and I'm so happy to see him finally get it. Which is nice that they put their their fight to the death at the Skydome from last year behind them. From the last time we saw. Yeah, that was Kevin Owens' last match was that Rogers Center show.
They were both baby faces, though, for that one.
No, Kevin was a heel at that point.
Oh.
Remember he had turned on Cody?
Well, listen, the injury seems to fix
whenever you break your neck, you revert back to a babyface. That's what happens. When the anesthesia wears off, you're a babyface.
I mean, they're so cool now that, like, I mean, in storyline, they are cool. You had Sammy say, you know, don't bring up that name, and they're supposed to be, like, I believe there are real emotions in this tweet, but I also think it's in service of whatever story they're trying to tell, you know.
This title change, it was a great final push for the barbecue on Sunday. Kevin Owens' first return.
Yeah,
since neck surgery. It's July on the Post Wrestling Cafe, and that means our extensive G1 coverage begins starting July 11th. We're going to have reviews of every single G1 card right up to and including the finals in the middle of August. Plus, Rewind Away takes a look at 2 episodes of Heels. We're also going to be going back to 2005 for a review of WrestleMania 21, and it is the start of our double shot episodes covering this season of Dark Side of the Ring. Plus, we are going to dive into the third season of WWE Unreal. All that and so much more can be yours by signing up to the Post Wrestling Cafe. It gets you XL editions of Rewind to Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown, Collision Course on a weekly basis, MCU later, and so much more.